Marilyn Herrmann has heard stories like Carmel's so many times, and that is one of the reasons she continues to support the Surrey Food Bank and other food banks that provide sustenance for families going through rough patches. It is my pleasure to welcome Marilyn Herrmann, the Executive Director of the Surrey Food Bank, to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you, Fanny.
And I know by the grace of God, we say it all the time, and I promise when I wake up at 5 in the morning again, or at 4 in the morning, I'm not going to make myself a bag lady anymore. But we do that.
Yeah. Yeah. People who use food banks are like you and I. You know, they're our neighbors. They're people who live in our community who are challenged with whatever is happening in their lives. People often say to me, well, who uses a food bank? There are people who are on unemployment insurance. There are people who are working.
Sure.
Two
working
parents,
poor?
in many cases, working poor, people on a disability, a limited pension, senior women who have raised their kids, looked after their husband all their lives. They didn't think about RRSPs. And now here they are, husbands passed away, and they're left with a very minimal amount to live on.
What are the rules about who can use a food bank, who can't? How does it work?
Well, there are over 900 food banks across Canada. 90 in British Columbia. Every food bank has possibly a different kind of rule. Some food banks you can go once a month, some you can go once every 2 weeks, some you can go once a week. In some cases you can come, address, proof of identification, and they can serve you. Surrey, we ask for proof of income. We want to see, in fact, that we are serving low-income families and that we're serving the needs of that family. So we'll ask for identification, proof that you live in our community, proof of income, and care cards for your family members. That's how we know 41% of the clients who come to the Surrey Food Bank are children and babies.
41%.
41%.
What we don't know about hunger in Canada.
Absolutely. We made a commitment 3 years ago that we would serve families with infants, babies up to 1 year of age, or pregnant women. We wanted to make sure that they received a full week of nutrition when they come to us. That's $175,000 worth of baby formula every year that we're distributing just for the babies, and 26,000 jars of baby food.
And is there an income level when you say you have to be low income, below poverty line? What's the amount?
Yeah, if you're a single person, it works on the LICO, low income cutoff. If you're a single person, $1,375 or less puts you in a low income net. Puts you in a low-income bracket.
And people I know who have been on income assistance, there's so many rules around that.
Right.
There's some abuse, I know, but there's also a lot of rules about education and what you can do, and then they claw back and they take it away. And if we could just find a formula that people who want to get ahead and want to come back and want to not go to a food bank again, it isn't easy.
No, it's not. And you know, we're working with families who may only come to us when they need, you know, as they need. Not coming every week or every 2 weeks. They're simply coming when the car breaks down, they have less hours at work, something has happened in their family that there's an expense that they can't meet. You know, when you're faced with, do I pay rent or do I buy food? Your landlord is not going to say, that's okay, don't give me the full amount. You know,
not many landlords do that. The odd one, but not many. It's so
people
true.
are challenged. People are challenged.
Very much so. You were a single mother, so you can relate. Did you ever have to use a food bank?
There were no food banks in my day when I was a single mom.
Okay, so how? Well, I won't date you. But who started the food bank?
You know, interestingly enough, the unions. When the economy took a downturn, unions said we need to help our members, and they started the first food banks. And immediately churches, community service clubs, communities would come together and say, you know, we have a need in our community. We need to start and address the need. So it was a temporary solution to a temporary problem.
Okay, and now it is nonprofit society.
Correct.
Obviously, volunteers and some staff.
Some staff. And no core government funding. No core government funding.
No core government funding because the government won't give you funding, or you don't want funding, you want to remain autonomous?
Governments don't, I don't think, really want to admit that there's a need within communities. So we do apply for gaming grants, and we do receive a gaming grant, which helps to purchase food. But core government funding, I don't think we're considered to be an essential service in our community.
Really? Food?
Yeah.
Food for the poor?
Yeah.
Well, and with when so many people work today, luckily, not as many volunteer.
Right.
Busy lives, don't have time, and some of the new safety rules and all of that in the church basements, the women of the church used to make soup and it was all allowed, and now there's so many rules.
There are. We're very fortunate. We actually have a waiting list at the Surrey Food Bank to volunteer. Our community served 56,000 hours of volunteer time last year for us.
Really?
And we would not exist without our volunteer component. It's amazing.
To be a volunteer, do you have to go through any process, or can you come and just put groceries in a bag?
We go through an orientation.
Right.
We ask you to fill out an application so we can see what is your skill set. You may prefer to work in the office answering the phone, or you may prefer to be building hampers. So we go through an orientation, we introduce the food bank to our volunteers, and then we place them into positions that they're happy with, that they feel good about giving back, and it works very well. Okay,
and In Together is amazing, as you know. If somebody donates even $1, Shaw will match the $1. If somebody wants to donate $250,000, Shaw, I think I'm understanding this right, will donate $250,000, and that's the maximum amount.
Right.
If you want to give $500,000, great, but Shaw will match it to $250,000.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. But you know, fundraising today, every little $10
absolutely
really helps.
Absolutely.
It's
and
a great way to fundraise.
The money is so important. You know, we are an 8,000 square foot warehouse, and we still have the hydro to pay, and we still have the gas for the trucks and the, you know, the essentials. So there is a cost to running a food bank, not to mention the food that we purchase.
And Campbell Canada donates 1 pound of food for every $1. Right? So that's a lot of food.
Absolutely.
What food do you need? What's if we're going through our cupboards or going to the store and thinking of things to donate? What's good?
Protein,
what do you need?
Protein, whole grain type cereals, whole grain type pastas, healthy food.
Right.
You know, people often say, well, the food bank just gives garbage. It's not good, healthy food. Well, we pride ourselves in Surrey on really ensuring that a family will get a wholesome hamper when they come to us. Kraft dinner is fine, you know, pasta's okay. Peanut butter, canned fish, canned meat, any item that will give the family some nutrition that is really essential.
Sure. I was thinking dried beans. I don't know if that's a good suggestion or not, but lentils and beans, because you can make a big pot of soup.
25% of our clients are new immigrants to the country. And it's really incredibly interesting when they come and you hand them a can of even a can of vegetables. They don't know what to do with it. And processed food in a can is not a concept that they may be familiar with. So they're looking for fresh fruits and vegetables, dried lentils, items that are really healthy and that they're familiar with. Exactly, dried or figs and anything that they are familiar with.